Okay, so I went ahead and off camera did some of the detailing, starting off just to test out how it will work on this horse, just to see if I should do it in a specific way or not. And I went ahead and did the eye and some of the detailing around the eye. So all of these layers right here are the eye and around the eye. So it starts off with this layer, which is just like highlighting around the eyeball. And then there's this layer, which is the shading. This layer, which blacks out the eyeball. This one starts off the color. This one adds some color to it. More color, and then more details of the eye, and then more detailing. So that's how I do like my detailing. It's just more shadows, more highlights, and more like thin, harsh lines of highlighting, and lots of white. That's just how I like them. So I'll show you guys how to do that on part of the face. So you're going to want to use the pen fade brush to start off with. We're going to do a color that's almost white. Sorry, I got Instagram notifications on here. I'm so sorry if you see those. But we have to start off with the pen fade brush. I'm actually going to turn on the force fade. So it's going to fade out the end of what you're doing. I always use force fade. It's like my favorite tool on here. And my favorite thing to do is just highlight this part right here completely. Like, I really love that part on the horse. But I'm going to do a layer underneath it. Then I'm going to do a bigger brush and highlight it more right there. Then what I'm going to do is lower the opacity of that. And now it looks more accentuated. And I think I might actually redo this one, just because it looks a bit uneven. It's all about just seeing how it looks and redoing it if it looks bad. Okay. So there's that. Gonna blend this out just a bit. I always use like the blur tool to blend it out, just because I think it works the best. There we go, that looks better. And you're just gonna really do that with anywhere that you think needs highlighted. I think this part needs highlighted, so I'll do that. Especially this part right here. I always do like these little strokes. And that's basically just what you do. Just keep doing that. Basically anywhere that you think needs it. And this really, really changes the feel of the art piece. It changes how it looks. It changes like the feel of it. It changes the detail of it. And it really like just makes it look a lot like higher value than it is, I guess. It makes it look like you spent more time on it than you did, in my opinion. That's just how it is for me. I really just like to accentuate anywhere that I think I want to. It's really just up to you if you want to accentuate somewhere else than me, then do that. Like right here, I do not like that. So I'm gonna blur this right there. That looks better. And then just add one line. I think that looks a lot better than what it did. Highlight it a bit more. And then you'll start to see like the progress, the changing of it. Really in these like steps that I'm doing, just highlighting, more shading, accentuating, whatever you want to say. Here. Always do right here with the little strokes. It always adds a bit of shine to where you want it. Let's see. Do some right here. Really just about making it however you want it. I always just live by that. If you don't want it to look like this, then don't do it like this. If you do, then do it. Like, just live your life, man. That's my vibe, I guess. If it looks too harsh or too straight and too weird, I always just blur it on one edge of it or both edges of it. That way you can just make it look less like straightforward, I guess. And that's how you like change the feel of this. Like if you look at the face looks a lot more elegant, whereas the body needs some work on it to make it look kind of as good as the face does right now. You can kind of do like those squiggles, because the squiggles end up looking like sheen almost. Because once you're like either right here or right here, where you're not really going to be like all the way up here for it, for like a horse avatar or a stable avatar or a banner, you're not going to be super, super close to it, so you won't see how squiggly the lines are. And you won't see like everything, every small little mistake, I guess. Not really a mistake, but you won't see every single like stroke of it. You're just gonna see the sheen of it. So yeah, basically just continue that for the rest of the face. This one looks too harsh, so I'll blur that one. Also, I'd like to point out the fact that my canvases are always really big. And that's also part of it, because if you have a really, really small canvas, you're not going to be able to get those like small, fine detailing, like brushes and strokes and stuff like that. You're not going to be able to get those if you use a really small canvas, because you need to be able to have like every detail of the horse's skin. You need to have every single detail so it doesn't look pixelated. And you can still end up resizing them and they'll still look really good. after you upload it and sell it or whatever you're going to do with it. Keep it, whatever. Those look a bit harsh, so I'm going to blend those. Use a bigger brush. It's kind of like a second highlighting almost. Anywhere where you think needs it, just do it. Right here. Blend that one just a bit, so I'll lower the opacity. I think the detailing does add some sort of like fantasy element almost to it. I don't know what it is, it just adds like an extra bit of oomph, if you get me. That's one of my favorite words, just oomph. I'm sorry, I'm totally weird and crazy, I don't know why. But just like on the highlighted parts, some of the shadow parts, just keep adding those lines. This part takes almost forever, but it'll be totally worth it in the end when you have all of those small details and you can really just zoom into that photo and it will still look amazing. I actually think that it looks better when you're zoomed into it. Like if you do like this, I think it looks better than when it's zoomed out. But that's just me, I guess. So basically just a less harsher, thinner lined, thicker opacity highlighting session. Another part that I really like to accentuate, so I'll do it the same as I did the cheekbone, is this part right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that straight edge on one side, hide the opacity, blend this on this side. I think it needs a bit of blending right there. And it's a bit too harsh for my liking, so I'm going to take a large airbrush eraser on low opacity and just erase a bit of it. That looks a lot better. And then we're going to go into the dip pen, the soft dip pen, on a 1 pixel brush, and we're just going to accentuate that straight up. And there's that detail right there. I think this one right here could use a bit of that. This one right here. Right there. And once again, every single art piece will be different. You will do more on some art pieces, less on others. And you'll really just find out kind of how it is once you get used to it, once you go along. Once you get comfortable with it. Once you get a lot more comfortable with it, it'll be a lot better. Once again, just following those muscles. Really everything in this kind of how I do my art is just following the muscles. So I think this is going to be maybe the final part to this series. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to finish everything in this video or if I'm just going to split it up into more videos or how I'm going to do it. I am not quite sure, but I will. Obviously, you guys will know whether or not there's a second video after this one. Actually, I think it would be the 5th video, because this is the 4th one. So yeah, just keep doing that, and then I will show you guys how to do it on the legs once I finish the body.